Hello everyone, I'm Emma and welcome to the January 2025 Yoga Challenge. Now, if you haven't seen the introduction video, then I highly recommend checking it out because it will give you a lot more detail about the challenge. But in brief, this challenge is all about the fundamentals and the foundations of yoga. It will contain 14 videos and 8 of them will be yoga and 6 of them will be breath work. This challenge will also go hand in hand with my other challenges. So if you want to do them back to back, doing this challenge first and last year's, then you completely can. You can almost get a full 30 days of yoga. Now, who's this for? This challenge is perfect for anyone who's a beginner to yoga or to movement, or anyone who wants to build their mobility or a specific flexibility skill like building hamstring flexibility for the splits. However, it's also amazing for intermediate yogis to help refresh and solidify the fundamentals, which will then translate over to their intermediate and advanced poses, while also experiencing some super slow pace and relaxing sequences. All right, if that all sounds good, then let's get started. I'll meet you on the mat. So first we're going to find a comfortable seat. It can be on the knees or it can be cross-legged, but if you're a total beginner, then I recommend cross-legged. My cat is in here because she would not let me start without meowing at the door, which everyone would hear, so she's chilling here, so we'll have to work around her. So, all right, from here, close the eyes, roll the shoulder blades down the back. Find a gentle tuck in the chin and gently tuck the ribs in. Good. From here, take a deep breath in and out. So we have to warm the body up. We have to learn how to hold our posture through all the different poses, different ways, of course, but know what feels comfortable for your body and what is generally in the realm of proper alignment for each pose. And that'll change depending on what your body is like, how your hips are shaped, etc. Good, take another deep breath or two, just settling into the practice. Begin to just bring your awareness in. Maybe notice what you hear, what you smell, what you can touch. Textures around you. Part of a yoga practice is being mindful. You already lost a candle. Good, okay, open the eyes. Go ahead and add some wrist rolls. So if you're new or if you're experienced, you'll know how important it is to warm your wrists up when it comes to yoga. A lot of people experience discomfort, especially when starting out with the wrists, and that's where blocks can come in handy. So I'll be using those to demonstrate in just a moment. So just bring the blood into those joints. Go ahead and open the hand, add a couple little flicks. Flip the palm so it's facing upward. Keep flicking. Good, okay. A couple more rolls. Just do what feels good. A lot of yoga is also just knowing or like intuitively moving. Just take it slow when you're trying something new for the first time. Experiment with your ranges of motion. Good. All right, from here, if you're a beginner, then bring your legs to the side. If you're intermediate, you can roll over the knees, but we're gonna make our way into tabletop. So generally this should be okay for your wrists, but if it's not and they feel a little uncomfortable when they're flat, then you can either grab a dumbbell and hold them with the wrist flat. You can make a fist, or you can kind of hold a block and gently bring half of the palm off like this. It takes a little bit of pressure, but it's not, I wouldn't advise doing that for both hands. So this is only if one hand is uncomfortable, or you can just try splitting the fingers like this around the block. And you can use that in most poses. But if you're able to get the palm completely on the ground, then spread the fingers not too wide, but not too breath in. We want to make a nice base, grip into the mat so that the big mound of the fingertip is in the mat, and try and spread the weight evenly, but the base is that big mound. Grip into it like you're clawing into the mat. Good. From here, make sure we're not collapsed. Press away and then pull the core in gently. So not all the way, just gently. Good. From here, we're going to take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, extend the left leg. Now try not to let the lower back slip. Try and keep that core in and just use the glute muscle to extend here. Good. Press through the heel, flex the foot, and then try and keep the hips roughly even. If you need to, you can bring the leg a little wider. Good. Exhale, bring it back down, swap sides. Inhale. Exhale, extend the right leg. Don't worry too much about the breathing if that's tricky for you. Again, don't let the lower back slip. Tuck under with the pelvis. We'll look a little bit more into the pelvic tilt in a moment. Good. Flex, press through that foot. And again, don't worry about the breathing between poses. That will come over time. Good. Exhale, bring it back in. Nice. Give the hips a little bit of a wag. Give the shoulders a bit of a wag, and check you're not collapsing in anywhere. Press into the ground. Spread those shoulder blades apart. Good job. Now other leg. Left leg again. Extend, kick through the foot. If you're intermediate, you want to give this a go. If you're beginner, you can reach the right arm forward. Try not to round down with the upper body. Lift through the chest, make it proud. Good. Bring it back in, other side. Right leg, left arm, lift, lift, lift. So it's not the same side. Make sure you're not doing it on the same side or you will fall over. Good. Try not to sag. Lift, lift, lift. Nice. Bring it back in. Take a deep breath in. And on your exhale, make your way back with the hips into child's pose. So this is generally the beginner rest pose. For some people, this can also be uncomfortable. And if it is, then you can hang out in tabletop if you need some rest, or just sit back on top of the legs, whatever feels good to give your body a little bit of space when you're in the middle of a practice. And you can take this anytime it's difficult. Anytime you feel like you need that extra rest, even if it's right in the middle of a class, right in the middle of the peak pose, don't worry about it. Good. On the inhale, we're going to invite a nice stretch in. Walk those hands to the right. Exhale, hips to the left. So the hips sink to that left to get a nice left side stretch while the arms are gripping over to the right. Good. One more breath. Nice and slow. Nice. Inhale. Bring it back to the middle. Exhale. Sink down. Melt the chest over the legs. Experiment as well here. Maybe it feels better for you if you bring the knees wider. A lot of people find more comfort in their squats when the knees are wider, just because of the difference in anatomy and their bone structure. Good. Inhale. Exhale, walk the hands over, this time to the left, sink the hips to the right, nice right side stretch. Focus on your breath, on relaxing, on your mind to body connection, and try and bring your brain always back to the practice if it starts to wander. But forgive yourself if it does, that takes practice. Just try and catch it and return. Even the most experienced yogis will have their mind wander in the middle of a practice. Good. Inhale back to the middle. Exhale down. Nice. Inhale back to your tabletop. Shake those legs a little bit. Good. From here, we're going to walk the hands a little more forward and walk the feet back. Inhale to lift up into plank. Nice. So here we experiment a little bit. We learn more about our good posture. For a lot of people, the plank can be difficult. If this gets tiring while I'm explaining, bring the knees down. But what we want to make sure is the wrists are right underneath the shoulders, and we don't want to make sure the hips aren't lifting. We're not losing that core strength. We're tucking under, cinching in the ribs a little as well, and trying to bring the pelvis towards the belly button. It's a funny cue, but it does work. Then press. You can even round a little bit in those shoulders for the plank. Hold nice and sturdy. On the exhale, you can either rest briefly in tabletop or enter downward dog, and start with just a really gentle bend in the knees. Or a really big bend in the knees. It does not have to be a gentle bend. It can be a really big bend. Wherever you start to feel the hamstring stretch, that is where it is right for you. Now, if you take a wider stance, it'll be a little harder to sink the heels, but generally that is the better stance to go with. Gives you more space in the pose. So deep breath in. On the exhale, try and sink the heels to find that hamstring stretch location for you. Okay, and again, wherever the knees bend or wherever you feel the stretch is the right place for you, even if it's here. Don't push it, the extension will come over time. And that's the skill you're working on. It'll be no fun if you on day one already had maximum hamstring flexibility. Good, I certainly didn't. Take some deep breaths. Remember, there should be no pain. There should never be any pain with yoga. Just a little discomfort of that stretch as your nervous system learns the new range of motion. Good. One more breath. Again, take that tabletop rest if you ever need it. All right, from here, shift back to your plank, and then slowly, step by step, make your way to the top of the mat. Inhale, we're gonna find what is called a halfway lift. So it's really good preparation for if you're rowing in the gym or anything like that. What we wanna do is pull the shoulder blades onto the back, gently tuck the hips under here to keep a nice firm back, and you can rest your hands on the knees and you can bend the knees. From here, deep breath in. On the exhale, we're gonna forward fold. So bend those knees as much as you need to. This is a deeper hamstring stretch, and you can relax the hands. If you can't reach the toes and you're here and it looks like that, and that's okay too. What I want you to practice is extending the back, even if it returns you to your halfway lift, okay? Focus on the integrity of the back, so keeping it neutral if you can. Eventually, the only part of this pose that rounds is the upper body towards the end of the difficulty range for this pose. Okay, good. From here, if you're folding, then lift all the way up. If you're in halfway lift still, then lift all the way up. Good. All right, so this is your mountain pose. Now we can really practice posture. So if you've been rounding and sitting all day, if your shoulders come up a lot, then this is what will help to reverse it. So first, downward dog is amazing for that. The pose we just did that looks like a V, because it opens the shoulders. But what we're gonna do here is just see how it feels standing. So it's very similar to the plank. Roll the shoulder blades on the back, tuck the hips under, gently pull the core in. Normally we wouldn't need to do this if we're standing, but just firming it here in mountain pose can help to bring your mind to your body connection. My English is failing me. And then bring the palms facing forward, close the eyes, tuck the chin in. What really helps me is visualizing like there's a string on the top of my head and I'm being pulled upwards. But I'm not letting the ribs come out and keeping them in. Okay. Good job. Take a deep breath. Now we'll start to learn about the foundations of the foot. So take a look at your feet. What we want to do is spread the weight of the poses, or spread the weight of our body evenly among the foot in every pose that we're in. So we want to start on our base, again, is that big toe, but we want to also have equal weight on the right side of the foot, so the left side of the foot, the outer edges. We also want equal weight on the two sides of the heel. So generally that should mean your weight is over the middle or maybe slightly forward on the foot, okay? But middle is much better bet. Once you've found that, grip into the mat just a tiny bit to lift the arches. That provides grip, so that helps stop you from slipping. Nice, good job. All right, inhale, we're gonna reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees all the way down, so that's your forward fold again, and that can look like this, remember. Inhale again, exhale, step the left leg back. If you need to come up, then you can do that too. If your hands can reach, good. If you have blocks, that will help you as well. Good, once you're there, rise up into your low lunge. So a couple things. There are two different ways to do the low lunge. My favorite at the moment, and I find the better way to stretch the quad or the upper thigh here, is to tuck the hips under. So just like in your plank, you're gently tucking the hips under. We want to try and keep the pelvis even. So right hip back, left hip forward generally. And we're trying to keep our posture, our upper body, nice and stable. Once you have that, take a couple breaths. This is why we hold yoga poses for a while. It's so you can learn how it feels, you can learn about your body, you can learn how to breathe through the different positions, and just, I guess, learn about your body overall. It really helps to strengthen mindfulness and your mind-to-body connection. Good, you might feel it intensely in that left side. If your knee starts to hurt, you can put one of these amazing things under the knee, if you have one, or a blanket or a pillow. Good, now the other kind of low lunge, if you have the blocks, it can be helpful here. Sink a little deeper, stretch into that left side. This one might be harder because it requires a bit more ranges, a bit more mobility from different areas of the body. Good, take a deep breath in. Now, using that fundamental, while you breathe one more time here, the fundamentals of the foundations of the feet we just learned, we're gonna go into our high lunge. So take a deep breath, lift that back knee off. If you're up here, that's okay too. You can go from here, try and practice your balance. Okay if you fall a little or wobble. And come on up, place the hands on the hips, maintain your posture in the upper body, shoulder blades back. And find that solid base. So gripping into the mat, weight evenly on the foot. Try and come up onto the balls of the feet and that back foot, also giving your foot a good stretch. Then when you're there, inhale, reach the arms up. And you found your high lunge, nice job. Good, lower the left knee back down, hands back down, take your time. All right, from here, we're gonna inhale and step forwards again. So if you need to come up a little bit, you can do that, or you can use the hands. Inhale, halfway lift, exhale, fold, just a little more. And inhale, use the back, it's okay if it rounds now. Again, it's really good to bring your back through all ranges of motion, including rounding. Or maybe not again, I don't think I've said that yet. Good, bring the hands forward. Find that posture again. See if you can do it without me telling you first. Now, remember to string the top of the head, ribs gently tuck in, hips tuck under, shoulder blades roll down and back, chin in. Good, let's take it to the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. And this time we're gonna step back the right foot. Okay, bring the right knee down, elevate, right hip forward, left hip back. Place those hands on the left knee and hold your posture, or on the hips, whichever you prefer. Close your eyes, take a few breaths, grip into the mat, build that foundation already off the bat. That rhyme was fun. Good, one more breath. Almost done here. And exhale, lean down. Surround that left foot, sink into the lower version of the low lunge. Again, you can use blocks here, or you can stay elevated if this is a little tricky for you. Take your time, close the eyes, relax. Good. Okay, we're gonna go for the high lunge. Maybe take note on if you have a good side or a bad side. It's always good to spend a little extra time on the bad side. So when you're ready, lift that back knee and slowly elevate. Hands on the hips. Find your base, gripping into the mat. Let those back toes stretch. If you want, you can get the ankle stretch as well, but I like to stretch the toes, it's more active. Tuck the hips under, inhale, arms up. Find your posture. Good, one more breath. Nice. Exhale, bring those hands down. And bring the back knee down too. And from here, we're gonna step back forward. Halfway lift, exhale, two fold. Nice job. Now, on the next inhale, rise all the way back up to your mountain. Re-find your posture. String on the top of the head. We're gonna take a look at the pelvic tilt. So far, we've done a lot of tucking the hips under. However, tilting the hips forward is also a big part of yoga, and it helps to stretch the hamstrings. However, when doing something like a deadlift, we don't want to stick the hips all the way out and lose the strength of the back. We kind of gently want to tuck it, but not all the way. See the difference? There's a couple different, there's anterior tilt, neutral, and posterior tilt. Now, when we're in a deadlift, we want neutral, but when we're in a forward fold, we can anteriorly tilt the pelvis. Think of it like tipping a glass backwards or forwards full of water. Okay, so from here, sorry, we're standing up. Tuck the hips under, and then practice tipping them forward. Tuck the hips under, and practice tipping them forward. Good, so that's a big part of it. You'll learn how that feels more and more when you do different poses. But a really good way to practice is, again, from your standing posture to your tilt forward. Like you're closing a door with the hips. Good, all right, come back to mountain. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, tilt forward this time. Try and practice with the hips tilt. Gently forward, not all the way, just gently. Hands come down, deep breath in. Exhale, step back, and we're gonna introduce our first back bend of the practice. Lower slowly to the mat. Remember your plank cues. Tuck the pelvis under, ribs in, core in. Engage, lower down. So we're not just going, we're going with control. From here, bring the elbows right underneath the shoulders, and don't collapse here. Elevate, press away. Good, close the eyes, take a couple breaths. Try and pull your torso forward, like there's a cookie in front of you and you're trying to get towards it, just to help feel the stretch in the back and engage the right muscles. Squeeze the back here gently, gently. If you're down here still because it's quite difficult for flexibility, that's okay. Just don't try not to collapse completely into those shoulders. Press into the ground. Good, bring those elbows wide, send the hips back. Find your child's pose one more time. And we'll close. Two more poses and we'll close the practice. So start to slow your breathing. Generally, this is the cool down section. We warm up, we do some difficult poses, and then we cool it down and relax. Finishing with Shavasana. Good, inhale, come on back up to a seat. Swing both legs to one side and extend them out in front of you. So one more hamstring stretch. Now, if you have a strap, this can be super beneficial because it can help you get a little deeper than if you were standing. You can also use this standing, but it helps to do it when you're seated. So from here, bend the knees and aim. Again, tilt that pelvis forward and aim to keep your back flat, chest coming nice and proud down towards the legs. Okay, bend those knees as much as you need. I would rather you have bent knees than a rounded back. Okay, bend those knees and come down. Okay, eventually maybe you can work lower, but that will take some time. But you can get a little bit lower within this practice if you relax and focus on your breathing. We only need about 3 times 30 seconds of stretching a week to see results, and that is completely in a yoga practice. I got my hamstring flexibility really quickly when I started doing yoga multiple times a week. And it doesn't need to be for a long amount of time either. Good, go ahead and release. From here, we're gonna bring just the left leg over the right. It's okay if your back rounds here a little bit, that's fine. What I want you to do is twist towards the left by gently pressing on the outside of that left knee. And if you're able to, without much discomfort, hook the right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Good job. All right, swap sides, super gentle spinal twist. I love that one. And again, you can just twist by pressing on the outside of the right knee, or fully twist by connecting the left elbow with the outside of the right knee. It's better if the spine is straight, but a little round is okay. If you are rounding, I recommend taking that first position. Good job. All right, scoot forward. We're gonna enter Shavasana super briefly, so go ahead and relax down onto the mat. Beautiful, nicely done. Fully release and relax now. Extend the legs out. Bring the palms next to the hips. Roll the shoulder blades down your back and kind of solidify them on the mat by tucking them in. Close the eyes and take just 5 deep breaths today, but focus on breathing into the stomach with your diaphragm. While you're here, refocus on the present, maybe on the quality of your breath. One or two more breaths. Make those breaths extra long, extra slow. Good job. If that was your first yoga practice ever, congratulations. One of my favorite ways to get out of this position is to interlace the fingers, press the palms away, one last stretch, then roll onto my side, tuck the knees in. You can take as many breaths as you want here, but then when you're ready to come up, press up. And I like to finish with a bow just to thank myself for practicing. But today, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to reading all of your comments and just enjoying ourselves over the next 14 days. So I'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is another yoga video with some fundamental poses on top of these fundamental poses, so we'll move into stuff like the warrior poses. So I'll see you there.